What's up, everybody? It is your boy, Mike the Dude here, and we are back with some Hero Coliseum, guys. Now, today, we are going to get back to the top 10 best figures list. We're going to get back to it. We're going to, guys. I promise. We're going to get back to the top 10 best Potara figures, Fusion figures, Pure Saiyan figures, Realm of Gods, whatever you guys want. You guys are going to get. So comment down below a category that you guys want me to, I'm going to say category like it's Dokkan, a category that you guys want me to rank the best figures like Realm of Gods, Fusion, Bay figures, Bay team, all the women figures, girl figures, Super Saiyan, whatever, guys. Comment down that below right now, and I'm going to jot them down. But, guys, today, shout out to Tron96. Let me get into my phone real quick, because he commented something that I thought would be a very good topic for a video, because I really haven't discussed it. And I recommend, like, I don't think of myself sometimes as a tips and tricks player. I think I just post videos, and if it helps people, it helps people, just like the top 10 best figures. That's merely opinion. Everybody can have their own opinion on who they think is the best figure. Like, you guys could have clearly said best Goku figure, could have said Goku, because some people thought Goku was better than Ultra Instinct Goku, and I can make that argument. But, guys, today, this is a terrible intro. Shout out to Tron96. You commented, what kind of defensive team would be recommended if you're missing Vados or Whis, or without a defensive Towa, or an offensive team without a Videl? So today we're going to be doing the defensive team. So without Towa, without Vados, and without Whis, guys. So if you have a Piccolo, now this is all relative what figures you have and stuff like that. So shout out to Tron96. I love you, my brother. I do. But love all y'all subscribers. Shout out to all of you guys. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Now, one big thing that comes to mind, if you're running a defensive team, you need to be able to... Defensive teams are all about managing your resources and managing your HP, managing your master HP, because if you're running a defensive setup, sometimes you can run a two-lane setup. So that is why I automatically recommend, this man is an OG figure, so if you're running a defensive setup, please run a Piccolo. If you're missing a Vados, run a Piccolo. Or, guys... like I said, defensive setups, let me just backtrack. Defensive setups are all about managing your resources. So, if you don't have a Whis to lower the amount of damage you take, and you don't have a Vados to lower the attack by 30% of the other team's figures, there's two things you can do. Lower damage output of the other figures. One character that comes to mind every single time is Super Saiyan 4 Goku, or you could run Super Gogeta, because they both do the same thing. So Gogeta is a little bit different and trickier. I have a 10 out of 10 Gogeta. What? I do. Okay. I don't like to run him on a defensive setup, even though he technically is tankier. I like him just because if you get defensive up SEC, 2,000 defense, 8,000 HP, I think he's a beautiful figure, guys. But, boom. We're going to put Gogeta on first. And the reason I have Gogeta is because he lowers damage output by 10% when you go second. So the plays on a trigger score for plus 20% to your damage dealt and minus 10%, plus 10% to damage taken by opponents if you go first. We're going to ignore that because we're going to go second in this scenario. And minus 20% to your damage taken and minus 10% damage dealt by opponents if you go second. Stacks run that turn only. Top, middle, bottom right are our trigger scores. Now, guys, you can run Gogeta, go second, and he's going to be lowering damage output by 10%. Another figure like you saw me put on the team is Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I highly recommend, if you're running a defensive setup, guys, pick the slower versions of them. So Gogeta, I put the one with lower speed, and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I picked the one with lower speed. Now, Crimson Saiyan, place on a trigger score for plus 10% to your damage out, plus 20% to your ultimate attack damage. And this is the big one, because like I said, defensive teams are all about managing your resources, managing your HP, and managing your master HP. Is minus 10% to damage dealt by all opponents on the field, repeatable, which is the big one. Now he goes bottom, middle, top, right. So they work insanely well together, guys. They literally go hand in hand. I have a team literally made with them. Boom. This. I have a Vados. You could take Vados out, and I could honestly put another figure on the field that lowers damage output. But I could put Towa or something else like that. But you didn't want Whis, Towa, or Vados, because not a lot of people have it, and I really didn't recognize that when I was making videos and stuff. Some people would be like, well, I don't have these figures. How can I adjust the team to my liking? Because I don't so certain people don't have all the figures because they don't grind for 1, 2, they can't spend the money, or 3, they just don't want to spend the money. So this is the team I have now. Super Gogeta, lower 10% damage dealt by opponents when you go second, which is gonna happen with this team. You have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, minus 10% damage dealt by all opponents on the field, repeatable. So each turn, they're losing 10% of their damage dealt. First turn, 10%. Technically, first turn, 20%. But the first turn, 10% from him. Second turn, 20. third turn 30. If he is on the field for 3 turns, they are doing 30% less damage, which is a huge decrease in damage output. That is huge, guys. But now, another figure you really could use, which I highly recommend if you guys are, depending on what level you are, but even then, this team is like universal. I see a lot of people, even high-level players, use it. Piccolo. Piccolo is a monster, guys. So we're going to use the defensive one just because he has lower speed. I don't like this one that much, but he's super, super, super tanky. He takes way less damage than this Piccolo, but we're going to use the HP one just for this scenario. So Piccolo, number 45, what he does is place on a trigger score for plus 350 to your defense, repeatable, and plus 5,000 to your master's defense stacks during that turn. Only top middle is a trigger score. Now, that 5,000 defense to your master's that 5,000 defense to your master, that is huge. That is the key element to running a defensive setup, guys. So top middle Piccolo, bottom middle Super Saiyan 4 Goku, bottom right Super Gogeta, or you could run bottom middle. You could run top right Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I can't talk. I almost said Ultra Instinct Goku. Top right Super Saiyan 4 Goku, bottom right Super Gogeta, and top middle Piccolo. And you will be lowering their damage output by 10% with the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Another one by the 10% by the Super Gogeta. Now, Super Gogeta's second part of his posing skill is actually kind of weird, and I highly recommend don't run the setup I just said often, because Super Saiyan 4 Goku is going to be top right, which you want him to take as little damage as possible. Super Gogeta, bottom right, and him top middle. I don't recommend that setup. I actually recommend Piccolo top middle, him bottom middle, and him bottom right, because what that's going to do is he's going to get the 700 defense from your SCC skills, and 2, he's taking 20% less damage just to himself, which is a huge decrease, guys. Like, 10% consistently is broken. Like, Super Saiyan 4 Goku is a disgusting figure. So, guys, you have the corner piece of the team in Piccolo, because without Piccolo, you cannot run a 3-lane setup without your master taking a ridiculous amount of damage. Ultra Instinct Goku lowering damage output, Super Gogeta lowering damage output, and lowering the amount of damage he takes. Now, you can go 2 ways with this then. You could go the 01 skill route, and you can just farm 01 skill percentage and just try to get ult gauge basically as much as possible. You could go with the Rose route. Now, I don't know. Shout out to Tron96, by the way, because I don't know what figures you had exactly. You just said without a Whis, a Vados, or a Towa. So right now I'm trying to think as creatively as possible on how you can do it and how can you buff survivability with this team. Now, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is actually a really, really good character. I'm going to put him on because he's super tanky. So, guys, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is an insane figure, and the reason I'm starting to like this defensive version more than the attack version is because of just the amount of HP he has, the amount of defense he gains when you give him defensive up SEC and defensive up F is actually pretty disgusting. So you have place on a trigger score for plus 20% to your damage to your ultimate attack gauge at the end of turn, which is why I said you can farm ultimate attack gauge, run an 01 skill, and just keep farming it. Maybe get an ult turn 3 or something like that, the skill, and then you get an ult, win the game. GG's. But 1,500 to your attack and plus 700 to your defense when your HP is 50% or more. His HP is 50% or more. And plus 1,000 to your attack when your HP is 50% or less. That turn only. Top left, top middle is a trigger score. Comment down below if I was right on the Super Gogeta posing skill. I get it wrong even mid-game too. But when he gains 700 defense, boom, he will automatically have 2180 defense. That is disgusting. Defensive up SEC, which is going to happen second, so we're just going to do that first for math purposes. That's another 700, which means he's going to have 2880 defense. Boom, right off the bat, he is going to have 3,130 defense with a figure with 9,000 HP, and he's going to be getting 1,500 attack, which means he's going to have 6,660 attack with the 20% damage buff. He hits insanely hard. He tanks. Only issue, he has 2,000 speed, but sometimes if you're running against a speed team, he's actually a very, 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 very viable unit. Now, Vados makes this team a heck of a lot better, but we're not talking about Vados today, guys. So you could honestly use Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. I'm going to do a bunch of setups here. I'm not just going to run this one. I'm not going to just show you this one. I might use this team in a video tomorrow, so comment down below if you guys would like to see that. But honestly, there's a bunch of ways you can do this. I don't really like running OG Goku Black But place on a trigger score for plus 750 to your attack when attacked, and minus 10% to damage dealt by attacker repeatable. That's really difficult to get. Well, it's not difficult to get, but it's difficult to consistently lower their damage dealt if you don't have a Vados. Because Vados, it makes defensive setups disgusting. But another figure that I highly recommend, if shout out to Tron96, if you have, is a Android 17 Dragon Ball Super, Ranger 17. Now, I have a 1 skills on him just because I was messing around on ranked and stuff like that, and messing around on player match a couple days ago. Now, his HP is low, but he goes bottom middle, which is what I love about this. His defense is 3240, which is key for a defensive setup. And now, defensive setups, guys, I just want to say this. The best, for me, how defensive setups work for me is if they have a lot of damage output and a decent amount of survivability, because defensive setups are all about survivability. That's why Vados, Whis, and Towa are broken. But if they have a lot of damage output and a decent amount of HP, more than likely you are going to do a lot of damage and you're going to win, because if you can force a player to run a 3-lane setup with an offensive setup, you're going to win because all you have to do is take one attack and consistently take out a figure by tanking the first attack if they run a 2-lane setup. Now, what he does is, guys, he gives everybody 350 defense to all out. That actually says something. You cannot type, Dibs. What the heck did you do? Because it wasn't always like this. Defense to all lesson on the field, repeatable. If alone on the field, minus 50% of damage taken by your master once only, bottom middle. So you could run him bottom middle, him top middle, and he's going to be gaining 350 defense from his opposing skill, 350 defense from Dragon Ball Super, Android 17, 700 defense from his defensive SEC. So that is a ridiculous amount of defense gained, guys. Now, you could run, which is disgusting for Gogeta, because I just realized this. I might actually use this team online. Piccolo top middle, Android 17 bottom middle, him top left. He is going to be gaining another 350 defense onto his posing skill, which means he's going to be gaining 700 with defensive up F, Android 17, another 700 defense. He's going to be gaining 2100 defense when you go second, 2100 defense, which means you're going to have 3580 defense for a figure with 9000 HP. That, I say this often, but that's disgusting. Now, guys, let's get on with it. So, honestly, when, like I said, defensive setups, survivability, Super Gogeta, perfect setup. So, bottom right, bottom middle, top middle. Boom. That's one setup right there. You could do that first turn, lower their damage output by 20%, tank the first attack, maybe get a kill with Gogeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, because if he gains 10% damage dealt every turn, you run that for 3 turns, he's got a natural 30% damage buff then. Even if he's not on his trigger score, he will still get that 30% because he's gained it and it is repeatable, and it sticks with him for the duration of the match. Now, guys, I just realized one figure I could throw on this team, which I'm going to show you guys the next setup once I go over the possible setups with this team. So, top middle, bottom middle, bottom right, top middle, top right, bottom right. And then if you really wanted to put Gogeta top middle, Super Saiyan 4 Goku bottom middle, you're going to be running a 3-lane setup without Piccolo, which means no 5000 defense to the master, so you've got to manage your resources. Go Tanks top left. Now you could go Tanks top middle, bottom right, top right, bottom middle, top right / top left, depending on who they're going to run in the center. And then he can always go bottom middle, so bottom middle, top right, bottom right, or bottom middle, top right, top middle. So, guys, that's one of the setups. So I'm going to keep Super Gogeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku on the field for the on the team, because there's a couple other figures that I really think are good with this figure. So, a big one. I don't know if you have this, but Bardock is a huge component to defensive setups that I've noticed. Can I level 99 him? I don't think I can. I think I'm going to get you to like 87 or something. 85. Yeah, that doesn't really matter. It's like 300 defense, 300 attack really doesn't matter to me in the grand scheme of things. I also have my Piccolo at level 60, guys, so me giving tips is kind of pointless if I have a level 60 Piccolo. What are you doing? So, Bardock, the fact that he gives everybody 250 attack, 250 to attack, and 170 to defense, repeatable, and he goes bottom, middle, top, right. Only issue with that is he has the same trigger squares as Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but that means you just have to flip-flop them and never run them. You can run them together, just obviously you can't put them in the same trigger square. You have to go one bottom, middle, one top, right, which I think is a very good situation, because you could run him top, right, him bottom, middle, him top, middle, or bottom, right, or those two vice versa, and then he can always go top, middle, or bottom, right. Now, the fact that he's going to be making everybody tank and tank and tank and tank is ridiculous. So you could run another Piccolo. Piccolo will be gaining, everybody will be gaining 520 defense every turn on the field because he's going to be giving them 350. Well, Bardock is going to be giving them 350. No, Mugs, your fingers are going nuts right now. Bardock is going to be giving them 170. And then Ranger 17, let me take a sip of water real quick, guys. Ranger 17 will be giving them another 350, which means everybody on the field will be gaining 520 defense per turn, which is a very viable and obviously good because you're gaining 520 defense. He will have almost 4K defense in the first turn. He will have almost 2K defense. He will have 2K defense. Actually, you'll get close. You'll get really close. So like 1970 defense. And then you'll have 2K defense because you will have 2050 defense, which is really good for the more defense, guys, the better for defensive setups. I didn't even drink this water. I just realized that. I'm too busy talking. I'm too into this video, guys. I love making teams for you guys, and I love showing you guys the thought process behind a defensive setup, especially. So shout out to Tron96 because I haven't done this. I'm very sorry for my subscribers that this video was a long time coming because every time I make a video like Ultra Instinct Goku team build, or Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta team build, or a figure that some people don't have, like Jiren team build, 10 out of 10 attack Jiren team build, or 10 out of 10 future Gohan team build, or Vados and Bardock Broly team build. Why did I say Bardock? Some people go, well, we don't have those figures. We don't have the figures you had on the team. We don't have the figures that you suggested for that team. You basically just made a point in this video for us. And I'm very sorry. I didn't realize that, and I should have thought about the other options for people that might not have all the figures. So this is another big setup you could run because you got the damage output lowering, the damage dealt lowering with these two figures right here. You got the defense buffing from the Bardock and the attack buffing from the Bardock, so everybody's going to be hitting a little harder every turn. And then you got the defense buffing from him, and then you have the cornerstone of the team where if Piccolo dies, then you kind of can run at least one turn without a 3-lane setup. And without a 2-lane setup, and then 3-lane setups are pretty much what you need to run. Because if you're running against an attack team without a Vados, you have about maybe 2 good turns in you before you really start getting some damage put on you. Without this, now 10% consistently, 3 turns, they're doing 30% less damage, which is huge. Unless it's a blue Vegeta on the other team or Super Saiyan blue Gogeta. Now another team / another figure that honestly I think is way better than Piccolo, and you can run a 2-lane setup with him, but you can also run a 3-lane setup with him and still be super viable and super usable. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and the reason I picked him is because one, the monstrous amount of HP he has, and the utility he gives the team, and the utility of making the opponent think a little different when it comes to where they place their figures. Because one, he's going to be gaining 350 to all stats, attack, defense, and speed, which is amazing. The speed, I can honestly do without that, especially for this version, but I understand with the speed version why they did it. Plus 15% to your damage taken by attacked opponents. Every time he attacks a figure, they take 15% more damage, and that is for the Master. So 2 turns with the Master taking damage from him, you can no longer use a Future Trunks. Future Trunks means nothing. You're basically just wasting it, except for the attack and speed 1000 buff. That's about it. And then when he gets attacked, he gains 15% onto his damage up. So he will be gaining a ridiculous amount of damage dealt when he gets attacked. 2 turns, that's 30%. Plus that's 50%. That is ridiculous. Plus he's going to be consistently gaining stats, guys. So you can put him top middle, him bottom middle, him bottom right, top middle, top right, bottom left, bottom middle, top middle, or bottom middle. Because you could literally run these 3 figures on the bottom row, or you could run bottom middle, bottom left, Mugs. Jesus fudge. Come on. Shout out to Tron96. This is probably one of my favorite videos that I am actually recording of all time, because this is just, I love making teams, and I love helping people, for one. That's just who I am as a person, guys. So whenever somebody asks, hey, what do you recommend for this setup, I automatically have to make a video for it. So bottom left, top right, top middle, or bottom right, and then I gave the other suggestions. So I highly recommend actually this one over the Piccolo. And you can run him with a Piccolo too, but 10 out of 10. Now, I'm going to suggest this, though. I'm going to say this once. Dupes really sometimes matter depending on where you put them, but I'm not calculating dupes into this. I'm not even going over their stats really that much. I'm going over their posing skills and what works with defensive setups. So, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, obviously a monster. So, one thing I like to recommend, guys, is low speed, high HP figures, or low speed, high defensive figures, or high HP, high attack figures. So, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has low, decent amount of speed with 1400 defense. Has more than both, except you. Fudge, didn't even recognize that. But he has a high amount of HP, high amount of attack, so that is why I picked him. Now, you could run various amounts of figures that are just from the beginning of the game. You could run him, so top left, top right, and he's going to be getting you 15% onto your ult gauge at the beginning of the turn. So first turn, you're going to be getting 15% right off the bat, and they can't stop it because it's going to happen if you put him on the field, regardless. So other figures, guys, that I highly recommend with high HP and high defense, I have 7 dupes into my Rose, but he's still a very good figure, so I'm going to slap Rose on this. He can go top left, top middle, bottom right, bottom left, bottom middle, top right, top middle, bottom right. So this is a very good defensive setup because this team can take damage, at least 1 turn worth of damage, no problem, and you can take master damage as well. And then you can run a 3-lane setup and still be able to tank it because you've saved AP with these 4 figures. Plus, you could run him top left or top middle, bottom right, or 3-lane setup, top left, top middle, top right, or him bottom right. All of these setups are very good, and in my opinion, could win you a lot of games on player match. Now I don't know about rank depending on who you play, because like if you play like shout out to SEO Legends who won the Tournament of Mugs, Sun Santana who made it to the finals, J Swiss, Rock and Robo, EDG, Jeezy Yon, Meticulous, Batman, all of those guys know how to play against so many different teams. So I'm suggesting this when you guys are playing on player match, not with people sweating with Vados and Videl teams. This is just teams that work online without a Vados, Videl, and Whis overall. Now another figure that you are huge, this is actually staple to a defensive team. This is actually a pretty good team, and I might use it. Ultra Instinct Goku, and the reason I picked him is because the minus 80% to ult attack damage for all opponents on the field after turn order has been decided is a huge deal. Especially if you have figures with such high HP that if you get ulted by a future Gohan, and he doesn't have any buffs and maybe a buff, he will be doing 2,000 damage tops. Everybody will be able to tank that and give an insane amount of damage back, especially if he runs 1 skills, because you're going to tank it, and then you'll be able to give massive amounts of damage back to the future Gohan who attacked you, and the master 2 times depending on where you put the future Gohan. Now, even if they don't put 1 skills and they just ult you, you will still be able to tank that for less than that, because 1 skills still make you hit harder than a regular ult, depending on who it is. Depending on if it's Rose or something with a crazy amount of buffs, or Super Saiyan 4 Goku or a Jiren. Overall, you're going to tank all 1 skills in the game except those 3 figures I made exceptions for. That's it. So this setup, guys, I actually highly recommend because it's a lot of HP, a lot of defense. He doesn't have a lot of defense, but there's some RNG involved with him where for some reason he takes less damage than he should, because I've attacked him with an attack Ultra Instinct, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, and this man took 2k, and he only had like 1,500 defense. Now I'm going to tell you right now that makes no sense, because Gotenks has at least 8,500 attack for me after the buffs, right? Because this triggered me. This still to this day annoyed me. Not that one. Yeah, easy. 1,500 attack, 8,600 attack. Easy. Now I have ult buffing just because I think it's a cheesy setup, and in order to win some games, you gotta use O1 skills, guys. So those are my recommendations and my options. Now there are a bunch of other figures, so I'm gonna make this team, and I'm just gonna put the figures that I recommend you guys use for other defensive setups that I didn't mention in this video. So God Q bottom left for the attack buffing. This is Vegito Blue, so I'm gonna put Vegito Blue because he's definitely one of the big ones. Vegito Blue is one of the big ones. You can put him bottom right or top left, and if they run a 2-lane setup, more than likely they're going to die if you get SEC skills. So Piccolo is obviously one of them. Piccolo, I might actually make a team with figures on accident. Beerus, I'm not going to put him on as one of my recommendations because he doesn't have a lot of defense. He just has as much as Ultra Instinct Goku, but he really doesn't he doesn't really support the team in any way outside of the fact that he ignores defense. And does that say repeatable, dude? Why? You can't. Of course, it's repeatable. Like that doesn't make any sense. I don't know why I put one dupe into the seed. No, you really didn't pay attention. Who else is actually a really good setup? Base form Goku Black, I'm not recommending him. He's a C tier character tops, in my opinion, and we've already went over him. Both versions of Blue Goku. So I'm going to do Blue Goku. And I already used Piccolo on one of the teams, so I'm going to take Piccolo off. Blue Goku and Blue Goku. Bardock. I don't know that one. Bardock and Ranger set. This is actually a good setup. I actually think this team would work on a lot of people. Now, I didn't name a lot of figures, guys. So, Fu, good setup. Because if you run him, he's going to split his speed in half, which means you're going to go second a lot of the time. Jiren, both of these are the attack version, but I have 110 out of 10 in speed, 110 out of 10 in attack. So, pick your poison. Depends. Do you want more attack? Do you want a little bit more speed, just in case you do need to go second? Or do need to go first? Super Vegito, but he's a little iffy because he does gain 350 speed. So first turn he's going to have over 3,000 speed, which to me is just too much for a speed team, especially if you have a Vados. That's 5,000 speed. I've ran into speed teams that get 3,000 tops, and that means you're never going second, which means you're never getting the buff / skills that you put on. Ooh. Yeah, by the way, I got lazy. And I was very impatient. I put 9 out of 10 dupes into him, and I really could have put 10, but I got lazy. Ignore that, guys. Kefla's a very good one because of the attack buff, so I'm going to get rid of you. Blue Goku's a very good one still. Where's the other one I was just going to put on? Bardock. Both versions of SSJ3 Bardock. I actually recommend using SSJ3 Bardock over the base form Bardock, even though Bardock buffs the entire team. He lowers speed by 250, and even if it's the speed, even if you're running against another speed team, he's still supporting the team in a way by lowering their speed by 250, which means they might not be able to get the 01 skill effect that they really wanted, especially if you run an 01 skill figure. Attack hit, very good one. HP Champa's a fantastic one. This is actually a really weird team. I wouldn't use that team. In my opinion, I would not use the figures bottom mid. I would not use this team. Maybe. It depends on who you played. It depends on what team they ran. Godku, obviously. Attack Super Saiyan for Vegeta OG is because you can run him anywhere, and as long as you get SEC skills, he's still going to be hitting hard, guys. But that is going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Shout out to Tron96 because I actually enjoyed this video. Tomorrow, comment down below, like I said, the categories you want to see me do top 10 best figures for. Top 10 best figures in that category. And tell me what figures... Tell me if you guys want to see the attack one, so without Videl and something like that. So name 3 figures. Without Videl, without Vegito, and without like Speed Trunks or something. I can still make a team like that easily and still crush a 95% of people, depending on who it is and depending on what team they're running. Like I said, this is like rock, papers, and scissors sometimes with this game, guys. But that is going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe as always. I hope to catch y'all in the next video. Deuces, everybody. Hope you all had a fantastic day.